Last year, Washington Commanders owner Josh Harris bought a Jayden Daniels rookie card for $500,000. And honestly, I think the modern sports card market may have lost its freaking mind. Now, not because of Jayden Daniels card sold for 500 grand, but because we've seen this exact cycle happen over and over and over, and sometimes every single time. Collectors convince themselves that this time it's different. And look, before people start getting upset, and this is not me attacking Jayden Daniels, the guy's electric. He's exciting. He could become a superstar. And honestly, if you're a billionaire owner buying the grail card of the franchise quarterback as a passion purchase, I actually kind of understand it, right? What would you do with $1 billion? Who knows, right? But the hobby immediately treats these sales like proof that the market is healthy, like proof that prices only go up. And that's where things start getting dangerous. Because modern quarterback markets don't move rationally anymore. They move emotionally. Every single season, the hobby finds the next quarterback savior. Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Josh Allen. And for a while, the prices absolutely take off. Problem is, NFL reality moves really fast. Way faster than collectors want to admit. Supporting cast change, coordinators and coaches leave, offensive lines collapse, divisions get harder, injuries happen, and suddenly the quarterback that looked untouchable 6 months ago starts looking human. Mac Jones. Once that happens, the market can swing violently, right? That's what makes these quarterback card markets so dangerous, because quarterbacks aren't valued like normal players anymore. Collectors price them like future legends almost immediately. And the second the narrative changes, the pricing changes too. For example, let's take a look at a few guys. Trevor Lawrence. People genuinely believed he was going to become the next elite untouchable quarterback asset in the hobby. His cards exploded overnight. People were buying into generational talent, generational upside, future MVP projections, future Super Bowl projections, and now the market looks completely different. I think I bought a PSA 10.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face?
What?
Slap!
Prism Silver rookie card of his for like 50, 60 bucks midway through the season last year. It's not because Trevor Lawrence suddenly became terrible, but because reality is complicated, right? Football is complicated, really complicated. And collectors rarely pricing complexity. Let's take a look at another guy, Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen is incredible, legitimately incredible. And I'm a Pats fan, so that hurts to say. You can't hate on Josh Allen. But he's an MVP player, massive arm, elite fantasy production, huge fan base, and yet even his market has experienced massive swings. Well, why? Well, because the hobby constantly recalculates. Playoff success, supporting cast, roster turnover, championship expectations, sustainability. That's the part that people ignore. Even elite quarterbacks experience volatility. Let's look at Lamar Jackson, another MVP, another elite talent, another player the hobby has constantly struggled to value consistency. Why? Well, because mobile quarterbacks create unique risk in the hobby. I mean, their value is often heavily tied to explosive athleticism, rushing production, highlight moments, physical play style. And when injuries happen, or even the fear of injuries, markets react immediately. Again, it's not because the player stinks, just because speculation pricing is fragile. And Joe Burrow might be one of the best examples of all. At one point, Burrow cards felt untouchable, and they're still pretty high overall. Future GOAT conversations, future dynasty conversations, huge spikes across the entire market. Then injuries happen, roster concerns happen, protection concerns happen. The Bengals decide never to put any capital into their defense. And suddenly the conversation changes. Again, that's the cycle. And now we arrive at Jayden Daniels, and this is where the ripple effect really matters. Because collectors don't just buy players anymore. They buy ecosystems. They buy narratives. They buy momentum. They buy protected or projected futures. Jayden Daniels may absolutely become elite, but this market is tied to way more than his talent alone. It's tied to coaching stability, offensive line play, receiver development, divisional competition, playoff success, organizational stability, health. Everything ripples outward. And honestly, the NFC East is not getting easier. Philadelphia still has elite talent, even though A.J. Brown is probably going to the Pats. Dallas still has offensive weapons. The Giants are rebuilding aggressively. Like, I'm picking them to make the playoffs year one with Harbaugh. And Washington still has major questions. And this is the part that people don't like hearing or even saying out loud. Jayden Daniels already has injury concerns attached completely to his profile. He came out of college slender. And historically, mobile quarterbacks carry significantly more volatility in the hobby because so much of their market value depends on explosive playmaking. One injury can change sentiment overnight. One bad stretch can change sentiment overnight. One disappointing season can change sentiment overnight. See where I'm going with this? And when prices already reached astronomical levels, the upside starts shrinking dramatically. Because at 500 grand, what exactly is left? I mean, but seriously, what is the realistic upside from here? Even if Jayden Daniels becomes elite, you're already pricing in MVP upside, playoff upside, franchise quarterback status, long-term dominance. At that point, you're not investing in potential anymore. You're investing in perfection. And perfection almost never happens. That's why I think the modern hobby has developed revisionist history. We only remember the winners. We remember Brady and Mahomes, and we remember the cards that went nuclear. But we conveniently forget the hype cycles, the crashes, the injuries, the panic selling, the quarterbacks that were supposed to become forever assets. Every few years, the hobby convinces itself this time is different. And every few years, reality reminds us the football is chaos. This video is not about rooting against Jayden Daniels. Honestly, I hope he becomes incredible. This is about understanding the risk. Because the modern sports card market has slowly shifted from collecting into speculation. And speculation works until reality catches up and slaps you in the face. Collectors need to start asking harder questions. What's already priced in? What's the actual upside from here? How sustainable is this? What happens if things go wrong? Because if profitability requires MVPs, perfect health, deep playoff runs, decade-long dominance, you're not investing anymore. You're just gambling on perfection. And honestly, that's why I want to make this video. Not to hate, not to attack collectors, not to tear down the hobby. Because the hobby desperately needs more transparency, more context, more realism, and less emotional decision-making. Because right now, the modern card market feels less like collecting and feels more like a constant search for the next quarterback lottery ticket. And eventually, that catches up to people. So let me know what you think. Is this a passion purchase or a small investment? And if you had $500,000 and you had to spend it on cards, what card would you buy instead? And if you enjoy the style of deeper sports card market analysis, please subscribe. Comment down below. This is exactly what we're building with Hobbycomp. Real data, real signals, real protection to give you confidence that you can collect with. So until next time,